Hello and welcome to Nights at the Hobby Table. It must be that time of the month because I'm here with my buddy Oplerone. My co-host buddy Oplerone. How you doing, bro?
Oh, I don't know what time of the month it is for you, but... Oh, yeah.
I've got my Obies, you know?
Is that like a STD?
I don't know, but it is itchy. How are you, brother?
Oh, it's good to know that I make people itchy.
Well, it's those dreadlocks, man. They're just like hanging out the underwear. I don't know what's up.
Oh, yeah. Like, soon they'll be touching my buttocks when I'll be pooping, so...
Yeah.
Easy wiping. That's why they get so brown.
You're slowly making your own hentai with your head.
Tentacle porn. Let's go. That's not the first time that came up this
go.
weekend.
Where have you been this weekend?
Well, I took my missus out to eat at a fancy restaurant, and it was squid.
For those, no one can see the camera feed right now, but I have a very concerned look on my face. So, damn. Anyway, apart from squiddly diddly, what's been going on, brother?
Nothing too much. All the good old hobbying things going on. Well, lack of, to be honest. I've been home with my kids, so not too much hobbying going on, but a little bit.
Weren't you cutting down trees like a lumberjack the other day?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a whole ass thing you had to do?
Yeah. I'm not done. I still have 5 to do, so.
Fucking hell, mate. Leave some trees for the rest of Sweden, Obi.
They're just on my property. It's fine.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, my missus was like, I'm gonna take down this little one here. So she started out with a saw. I was like, this isn't going too well. So she took out the axes, like swinging at it, like, oh my god, this is so hard.
Are you guys gonna like plant replacement trees?
We should.
You totally should, because that way, like, you know, in 5 years,
Yeah.
you have more firewood. You know what I mean? Like
5 years? How long do you think it takes trees to grow?
I don't know how long. They take a long time here. Yeah, they take ages here. But like, you can get things that, like a pine tree that is like super fast to grow, right?
They still take like 50 to 80 years. I think the one that we're chopping down now, the biggest one, is about 80 years.
Well, you need to pour your paint water on them so they grow faster. Give them like superpowers.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of work before that's gonna happen, so... Yeah,
Alright.
we're not there yet.
So I guess you'll die. Anyway.
Yeah. How about you, man?
Oh, man, you know me. It's been full throttle. Went to a friend's wedding the other day when I was on fucking holidays. Fucking a whole bunch of shit. I went to the Abbey Medieval Festival, which is one we have over here. It's like I guess the Americans call it a Ren Fair, but it's not a Ren Fair because there's no Renaissance shit. It's medieval. And yeah, that was dope. I bought like a big fucking like Viking knife and like some cool leather cuff with a wolf on it. I don't know. Just Viking metalhead things.
Fair enough.
It was good though, man. Had a good time, but the funniest thing is, like, we went there and the missus made the most of it. She bought like a cob loaf that they were doing there, full of cheese, really yummy. And I'm like, I don't really want to spend much money on food, so I bought like a sausage on bread and a kebab, and I was like, right, sweet, all my money's for random shit now.
Perfect.
But nah, it was a good time. It was fucking very busy. It was like sold out both days, and I was like, man, there's so many motherfuckers here.
Yeah.
Because like last time I went to that would have been probably like 6 years ago, and it was like you could walk up to the front gate, buy a ticket, walk in. There was people, but it wasn't like holy shit. This was like fuck me, dude. Like,
yeah,
huge.
When was the last time you went? The year before, or?
No, about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So like
pre-COVID.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Before all COVID and shit. Yeah, but I mean, look, I'm glad to see it's taken off because it means it'll happen again for years to come. So
exactly. If
no one goes, the event will stop. So cool shit.
Exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
So what's this episode about, though?
Oh, this episode? I thought we were going to talk about the finer points of making toasted sandwiches. No, seriously, it's about 3D printers again.
Yeah. Yeah. The realities
Just
of 3D printing, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, last time you and I spoke about 3D printers, I don't think we even had them yet.
No,
Or
didn't.
you might have just gotten yours, or it was on its way.
I just ordered mine.
Yeah, so it was like, let's talk about what we think it's going to be, and this is a bit more of a what it is so far. And, like, you and I are both still very new at it, right? Like, we're not...
Yeah.
We're nowhere near optimized at this, and this experience is going to grow and change, and that's the good thing about us doing this is, like, you guys get to watch us grow as hobbyists in this regard, so...
Yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, before we do that though, before we get into the meat and taters of this episode, what have you been up to with your hobbies?
Well, as we all
Potatoes,
know,
hey?
Leviathan released in the last month.
Oh, I didn't have FOMO. You do. Nah.
Nah. So I've been building a little bit of Tyranids on the side because, like I said earlier, I had my son at home, and then I don't really get to spend much time hobbying. But I've started building the Nids at least, and I'm almost done with them. I think it's 5 models left to build. And my son was like, "Oh, Daddy, those look awesome. Can I get some for my birthday?" It's like, oh shit.
Oh no. Get him hooked young, bro. That's how they do it.
Yeah. So he's just kind of interested in the bigger ones. So I'm gonna buy him like a Hive Tyrant, and I managed to score the Psychophage and the Screamer Killer and the Brain Bug as well. I don't remember the name of that one. So
yeah, right.
he wants the big bugs.
So he wants to do a kaiju army basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that. I love that.
Yeah.
Such a dope idea, and it eliminates the whole idea of there being way too many models to paint for Tyranids.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. I think that's
I
kind of
like
what stops him from painting the orcs, because there's too much detail on them. I think with these ones, what we're gonna do is we're gonna prime them in a Wraithbone and just do with contrast paints. So it will just be one coat and it will be done. And I think that will be a lot easier to keep his attention.
Well, we know what that's like, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's cool,
but
man.
besides that,
So,
on the 3D printing front, there's been a lot of models being made, a lot of models being processed.
lots of stuff.
Lots and stuff and things.
But before we go on to 3D printing, what do you think of the Leviathan? Like, are you glad you bought it? Do you think it was maybe something you could have done without? Because like, I didn't buy it, mostly because I didn't have someone to go halves with it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take up doing Tyranids, so I kind of just wanted the Terminators out of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, what do you think? Like, do you think Indominus was better? Because from what I've seen, Indominus looked a bit better.
I feel Indominus was indeed a better box set. Because for the Necrons at least, you had more options. For these Tyranid models, it's basically what you get on the box. So there's no customization options. And Indominus gave you that choice for some stuff, for like the basic troops at least.
And I think on the Space Marine side, like Indominus gave you the more cool, unique Space Marines.
Yeah.
Like from what I've seen, the only thing really special in that new boss, like the Leviathan, is the tall Terminators. But we're gonna get them soon anyway as standard troops.
Yeah.
Like, but in Indominus, you had like that cool dude with the Executioner sword. You had the Eradicators that looked really cool. I know they're standard troops now, but I don't know if they were before that. And the Blade Guard veterans, like
well,
really
now you
cool,
get the Stern Guard veterans, the shooty variants, and I think they're cool.
Yeah, but how cool were they? How cool were they though? Like coming out of the boss like that. Like I think that's cool as fuck. So.
Yeah, on the Space Marine side, I think I kind of agree. Like the Terminator Captain's cool. The Librarian, I don't really like that one. It's a cool model, but it's not for me.
I think it's cool.
I think it fits better for like your army's aesthetic, but not for mine.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm sending it to you.
That's the thing. I'm okay with that.
Uh,
Send me models. I like them.
the Apothecary, I don't really care for it because it's Gravis armor. The Lieutenant, I hate it because it's Phobos armor. The
Dude,
Pyroblaster.
when you showed me that, I was just like, eh?
Yeah.
I don't like Phobos armor at all.
No, me neither. The Pyroblasters are, they're okay. They're good kit bash potential if you have too many of them. But nothing special. The Sternguard veterans are cool, the Terminators are cool. And I think that the Dreadnought, I sold the Dreadnought straight away. Because I didn't like the Ballistus Dreadnought either.
Oh, see, I really like him. I think that's cool as fuck.
Yeah. The kit looked cool though. Like, it was a really easy one to build. Like, not a lot of parts. Of course, it's a monopose, so it's not really much to do about it. But if it would have been going to me, I would have struggled with putting LEDs in it, which I would have done.
Yeah. That Apothecary I reckon would look pretty good if he looked like he was carrying dinosaur
skull,
like embryos in that little
yeah.
You know, just looking at him. That's cool. I like that model.
I don't know. I don't care for it, but yeah.
Well, feel free to send that to me too if you don't want it, mate. Feel free.
We'll see. I can't send you too much. You're already getting bits from me.
Send me all the things.
Yes.
I'll send you feet pics. You know how it works.
No, but besides that, I also worked on fixing my Godzilla model. So it's ready to prime and hopefully paint. I want to paint it maybe this week. I got Wednesday and Thursday ahead of me to do it. So I'm hoping I can manage.
You gonna kit pass Gundam bits onto him, make him a Mecha Godzilla?
No, it's just a straight up paint job.
Cool,
it's gonna be as fast as possible and as good as possible.
This is a matter of clearing out backlog, isn't it?
Yes, and I want to take it inside. This is one that's gonna be on the inside the house, not in my hobby room.
Oh, it's approved by the wifey?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, so that's
it's funny, actually.
My hobby, I guess.
It's funny, actually. We had a moment the other day where, like, you know, our lounge room was spotless, and Tara had just, like, redecorated it with, like, you know, on the coffee table there was, like, a little tray with, like, a candle and, like, some tea lights.
Yeah.
And she went out for one day, and she came back, and I put, like, I have an incense burner, which is like a skeleton laying down with his hands like this, and he holds the incense stick like across his body, and it sort of falls through his legs when it burns.
Yeah.
And she just, babe, what's this? I'm like, incense burner. She just started chuckling. She's like, one day was all it took for the skulls and shit to creep back. Get used to it, because this is how it is.
But she isn't really too much into metal, right?
No.
So.
But, you know, she knows what she signed up for.
Yeah.
Nah, cool, man. But yeah, I mean, on the hobby front, I have been a busy boy.
Oh.
A very busy boy. Obviously, 3D printing stuff we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm.
But, I've been smashing into my backlog a bit.
Yeah.
So, I have knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 custodians. And the Dreadnought, which isn't in this, I haven't done it recently, but the Dreadnought. And I'm now working on a Land Raider and another custodian. And then that's all of my custodians that I got given to me, done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dude.
Like, from that guy, I still got 2 boxes of custodians to do. I have some Wardens and some Talaris.
Oh, yeah.
Like Terminators, which, you know, but they have brand new crisp models.
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint them a lot more slowly and pay a lot more attention.
Yeah.
But the ones that I had for free already, they were like, how do I say it without sounding rude? They were shambled together.
Yeah.
They were painted very poorly in gold. I don't even know if it was like retributed gold, because it was just like a lot of it had like abrased off, so it was like very lackluster, grey coming through. The bases, like, it was all just spray painted, so the bases were gold as well, with like sand like spattered on them. Like, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
A lot of them were broken. They were really brittle for some reason as well, which I don't understand.
Yeah.
But they're not resin. So anyway, I've worked on them. I've resurrected them, and they're looking good. But my new ones, they're going to be crisp. All the details are going to be nice and crisp because they're not going to have 2 or 3 layers of paint on them.
Yeah.
They're just going to have their normal, So, I'm excited, and I'm smashing it out.
Yeah.
So, it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been real good. I wanted to paint a Land Raider since I was like fucking 15, 16 when I first got into the hobby. So finally having a Land Raider, I'm like, this is what this is.
Yeah, I finished my Rhino actually. I forgot about that. I just have to clear
I saw that. I'm super glad that you put those black panels on the side.
Yeah, it was a real good tip.
Because it just being all red was just a bit too much red. It looked like a big fire truck.
yeah, I agree. That was a good call. Adding some black panels.
You know me, I got an eye for detail. Like an eye for shit like that.
Yeah, that was a good point.
Yeah, no. The hobbying's been good. I update on my fish. No more of them have died yet, which is nice.
That's a good.
For now. And I finished Need for Speed Unbound last night. And I don't care what you say, gaming is a hobby.
Oh, well.
So, yeah. You just sit there and take that. How is that lid staying attached to your bottle? I'm very confused.
Yeah, it's one of Sweden's newest designs. And I fucking hate it.
Whoa.
It's terrible.
That's the wildest shit I've ever seen. Okay, so the people that listen to this podcast won't understand, but it's like a Coke lid with a tab that stays attached to the ring pull, and that's the most wild shit I ever saw.
Yeah, it's because people kept losing their corks, apparently. So now Sweden is like, oh, you know what? We got a solution. We'll just keep them on there. Fucking idiots.
It's
gonna
make it harder for recycling, though, right? Because I don't know, in our country, you can't recycle with the lids on.
Oh, no, we recycle with the lids.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
That's why the bottle is getting so foggy. Because they keep on recycling everything.
Yeah. Look how clear mine is. That's some fucking clear plastic right there. No recycling here in the land down under.
Just burn the fucker. Burn it.
Yeah, cool, man. So with that, I think we'll go on to talking about today's fucking proper episode.
Yeah.
And I think this one's probably a really good one for you to start on, Obi, because we were talking about this the other day. Now, with 3D printing, it's not just plug in a printer and, the gods send signals to your printer and you magically get stuff. You have to actually push it into software. And you were telling me all about your conundrums with the software the other day, Obi.
Yeah. So, at least for resin 3D printing, the way it works is that you basically pull the model from the plastic sheet. So what that means is that you'll start printing a layer, but that layer is like 5 millimeters from the build plate. So that means that you need to put a support onto that piece, yeah? And the more it rises, the more details come up, the more maybe individual points that you need to support because it's starting a new point somewhere free from the model. So that means that all of those islands, as what you would call them, you need to support them. Now, there are a lot of files that come pre-supported, ready to print, and that's a big fucking sham because they don't work. It's basically...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's basically... There's a couple of companies that do it right, but not all of them. So what that means is that you have to make sure that all of these islands are effectively supported, because if they're not, your print will fail, it will turn into a big blob, and you will not get a bottle.
And you will be sad.
Yeah,
Tears.
because it's wasted resin. That's money. So, well.
Yeah, which we'll talk about later too.
Mm.
Right, so now with that, like, I know for me, anything over, because, like, obviously mine's printing from the bottom vertically. Yours is printing upside down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yours is coming out of the resin.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's different, but with mine, anything that's over a 45-degree hangover, like, you know, like sort of that, I put supports on, like I auto support it.
Yeah.
Now that's not too hard, but there's tricky shit that you don't realize.
Yeah.
So, for instance, I 3D printed a honeypot for Tara when I first started out with a 3D printer, and let me tell you, because I was using Lychee Slicer at the time, and I've since switched to Cura, but auto supports on that, fuck me dead, dude. A good half of the honeypot on the internals were filled with super dense supports, to the point where I bought a chisel from the hardware store to, like, carve the inside of this thing out. Like, it took me forever. And that wasn't the printer's fault, that was just me not understanding what I was doing with the software. I think that before you buy a printer, you don't really understand how involved the slicing system is, like, how much that changes. So, like, I think there were grid pattern supports, and they were at, like, I think, like, 20% or something. Or 30%, like, density. Now, that's fucking insane, because, like, my most recent print I did auto tree supports at fucking 0.5% density.
Yeah.
And I removed them like they were crepe paper. You know what I mean? Done. Did it with my hands. Took me 5 minutes. This took me hours. And a Dremel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I think, at least from where I sit with the PLA printers, my advice is, if you're going to buy one, before you even buy one, download Cura and play around with it and learn your way around the program.
Yeah. Well,
right, and when you get it, then you can start.
I think what goes around with it is more the understanding of what you're doing in the program. Yeah. Like, if you just take any model you want to print, and
yeah.
Because if you can't print it out, you don't know what's going wrong with it or what you can do wrong with it. And for a resin printer, that's even more apparent really fast.
Yeah.
So it's just a point of trying it out, I guess, and experiencing when things go wrong and how, and learning troubleshooting, you know, the stuff that did go wrong. Just looking at the failed print and be like, okay. What happened here? Did I put too little supports? Is my resin cold?
Yeah.
Is my FEP shit? Is my screen going bad?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me, why I was saying you should play around with the software first, is because of efficiency. Now, I printed a Mandalorian helmet recently at 105%, so you've seen that my head can fit in it, it's huge. One print. That took me 6 days to print.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people in the groups that I post then reckon it only takes them 2 days to print it. So, I'm 3 times less efficient at the moment than these other guys who know their way around the programs.
Yeah.
So, join some groups, pull up your settings and go, hey guys, would this be a good baseline?
Yeah.
You know, and then, like, obviously if you have a failure, then you can troubleshoot, but, like, just being in the ballpark is so much better than trying to jump over the fence and get a look at the game.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because, like, I printed that Trivium skull as well that I showed you, and that was the same thing. Ridiculous supports. Now, if I had just taken some time with that and sort of went, okay, what if I download another slicer? What if I do a bit more research on supports and support blockers and things like that? That would have turned out way better.
Yeah.
Way, way better.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a learning curve, but I also used materials on that learning curve, which sort of sucked.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
if you're doing PLA, at least I would definitely recommend Cura over Lychee.
Yeah.
Because Cura also has add-ons that you can download that explain to you what all of your settings do.
Okay, that's cool.
Which is really fucking helpful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think for supporting in Lychee for resin printers, it's a case of you have to do it manually. Because if you do the auto supports, it will fail. Because it's not enough.
Really?
It's not enough. Like, it will just put a support on the island, and that's it. That means that if that single island ends up growing to be too big of a part for the support to hold on to, it will just fail. It will come off the support. So you need to put more supports to support the weight of the model.
Have you tried using Cura?
No.
And using their tree supports?
No.
Maybe give it a go, man. I've had great success with it. Like, 1,000 times better.
I think people... Because I recently joined the Elegoo Discord, and, like, they've been super helpful in there. And, like, a lot of people have been recommending Tango for them. So I'm gonna check that out someday soon. I got a couple more things to do, and then when I give myself more time to work with this stuff, I'll be able to just experiment a little bit more with it. So
we'll do an update in a couple of episodes.
Yeah, maybe not a full episode, but
No, we'll do more 3D printing episodes down the road, obviously.
Yeah.
But like we'll update as we go. The thing I was going to say though too is like, anytime you start a new hobby, you owe it to yourself to learn as much about that as you can. And obviously, most of the time that comes from being part of the community. So Obi's joined the the Elegoo Discord. I'm not in Elegoo's Discord, obviously, because I am in Elegoo, but I'm in like 3 Mandalorian costuming things, which they all 3D print, and like one just about 3D printing helmets.
Yeah.
So like, those people have been immensely helpful to me, and obviously I research on YouTube and blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
So just research, and don't be afraid to play around with the slicer.
Yeah.
Because, especially on Cura, when you slice something, it tells you how long it'll take, it shows you where your supports are, and it shows you a calculated amount of material. So like for me, it'll say, 900 grams of filament.
Yeah.
So you go, oh, okay, cool, put a new roll on, like, all that shit. I'm sure it's the same for the rest.
Yeah, exactly. So what I try to do is at least make sure I'm not quite sure exactly how many milliliters it fits in my vat, but I always make sure that I top it up when I start a print, and I usually do that before I go to work or go to bed, so that when I get up from work I can see, okay, it looks like it's enough to finish this print. So I can either top it up then or leave it be. So, because it's been 24-hour prints lately, so that's takes a lot of time.
One thing to keep an eye out for if you are buying a PLA printer, just a quick tangent, make sure you get one or install a filament checker.
Yeah.
Right? Because with mine, if there's no filament, it sends a signal to the little computer and the print pauses. As opposed to it continuing without filament in. Now, that fucking Mando helmet I did, like I said, inefficient though I may have been, it took me 6 days and 900 grams of filament. Can you imagine if I had 800 grams of filament on there, didn't realize, and then bleh.
Yeah.
I'll get everything except for the very top of my dome done. That would have sucked.
Yeah.
That would have been a fucking shit day. So, just something to keep in mind. Like, maybe if you're trying to decide between models and one has that and one doesn't, get that one, Yeah. I think all the Creality enders have it, so.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
Next one.
So, in talking about just, slicing, would you say in general is 3D printing harder than you thought it would be?
No. For me, it's a no. I thought I was going to have a lot more trouble on the software side of it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not the most computery guy. You know what I mean? Like, I like to do shit with my hands. Like, I'm most comfortable with a sword or a hammer in my hands. Unga bunga. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I've wrapped my head around the software pretty well. Like, obviously, I've got a lot to learn, but, like, I'm printing things.
Yeah.
I put the machine together. I managed to level my bed quite quickly. Like, I've even had a situation where I had some prints fail.
Yeah.
And I was able to troubleshoot on my own without even Googling what was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like, it failed like 4 or 5 times, so I just ran through the things. I'm like, okay, is it, you know, a dirty print surface? So I wiped it down, you know? No, it wasn't that. Okay, is it that my PLA's got too much moisture in it? Because I don't know if you know, but that can cause prints to fail because it absorbs moisture. So I put a new roll in.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. Okay, what is it then? So I'm like, alright, fuck, you know, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And I just kept going through the things, and I'm like, I put my thing onto auto level, and it still fucked up, and I was like, hold on, why is my nozzle touching the glass?
Yeah.
And then I went in, I paused, I went to all my settings, and I realised that it was just jacked, the leveling on it. I must have knocked one of the screws while I was doing it, like removing a print,
Yeah.
and I completely put my bed out of level. So I'm like, okay, took 15 minutes with a piece of paper, re-leveled it, reset my Z offset back to what it should have been, which is like minus 2.5 or something for that machine. Is pretty normal for it, depending on the machine. And it printed.
Yeah.
Cool. No worries. So, it's not easy. But it's not that hard of a thing either. Like, I wouldn't say it's harder than learning guitar. I wouldn't say it's harder than learning to draw or paint. It just takes a different sort of knowledge. It takes some technical know-how.
Yeah.
And just the ability to go, okay, I'm going to get in here and do it, and if I break it, I break it. You know?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know. I kind of expected this, you know? I went into it with knowing that I will probably have failed prints. That's usual. That's normal. Not everything will go perfect, and like I still have failed prints. I had one yesterday on a pretty big part, and that was, you know, a lot of resin wasted. But it is what it is. It happens. But it's figuring out what went wrong, you know, and like trying to work around it in some way. Because now I didn't change any settings, didn't change my plastics FEP, just added resin and put up a new print, you know? And now it looks like everything printed.
What's FEP? Is that the sheet that goes over your build plate?
It's the plastic sheet, the plastic sheet that goes over the screen that holds your resin in the tank.
Right, it's the 3D printed condom. Got it.
Yeah,
cool.
Basically. So
awesome. I understand.
I think that one, when I replaced it, because I think I talked about it last episode, that I had a failure that punctured my FEP. So I had to replace it.
Oh, yeah, and shit went everywhere. Yeah, I remember
so that. I had to replace that. And I think I replaced it a little bit too loose. So I'm gonna probably have to replace it again. So just to make it sure that that's not the issue anymore. And it won't fail on me again like that. So
You heard it here first, folks. Don't pretend your penis is big, but just buy a big condom.
Mm-hmm.
Buy one that fits. If you need a water balloon, you need a water balloon.
Yeah.
Nah, cool.
No, I think
awesome.
all in general, it's about the same as any kind of hobby, really. It's a learning curve, and it's just learning to accept that it won't go perfectly. You know, it's the same with miniature painting. It's the same with playing guitar. It's like, it's a learning curve, and it's okay to mess up sometimes. Sure,
and sometimes you just gotta trust the process too.
Yeah,
like just trust that it is part of it. You know.
Yeah. I think I struggle more with the software side than you do, because it is a big time consumption on my end.
Yeah.
Like supporting. I printed off a Horus bust, for example, and I spent like close to 6 hours supporting that thing, and it still ended up failing. So it was like, you know what?
Wow.
That's mad. So I'm probably just
Yeah,
gonna
dude.
clean it up as good as I can. Oh look, I just broke another piece off of it. Oh well.
That's a good paperweight you got there, bro.
Yeah, could be a good rock to throw at people.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, they did say that Horus was shattered by the Emperor. Here's the pro.
Yep.
Nah, that's cool, man. That's cool. What do you wish you'd done before getting into it? Like, is there any prep work, like, for your space for it, or, like, things you wish you'd known before you got into it? Like, you know.
I think I went in it with a lot of knowledge already, to be honest. I think the thing that I skimped on is the software side, and that's actually more important for resin printing than anything else.
Yeah.
I knew about the safety, the hazards with it, that you need to have a ventilation, you need to wear a mask, wear gloves, and protect your clothes if you're scared about your clothes. I knew that I needed a good temperature in there, so I put a heater in there. I think that one I need to hang it up so that it doesn't shake the cabinet while it's heating.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I might have to do a modification for that. Um, but other than that, it's the software side from my end really. Either spend more time finding supported things, or just pay the money and either get someone to do it for you or buy these supported models that somebody spent time supporting for you.
Yeah, yeah. Or just really have a grasp on how to do it yourself efficiently.
Yeah.
So, like, you can do it in an hour and not 6 and still have it fail. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you really want. I think for me, I wish I had my shit just a bit better set up. Like, I really want to, and I'll still do it, but I really want to get, like, industrial shelves. So I can have my industrial shelves, like a small, maybe toolbox, like, or sliding drawers on there with all the things I need for it, like clippers, like anything like that. And then storage space for projects, right? And PLA, so I can put it up there in, like, moisture sealed boxes, boom, boom, boom. And just have that sort of going. The other thing is too, like, I wish I bought a filament container. There's like these, like, food. Think of food dehydrator, but it has, like, spindles to hold your filament, and they can come out of there. You can have, like, 2 filaments on there. They're sick, and I will be getting one of those. But, like, I just wish I had it already. Like, I wish I'd sort of went, okay, before my printer gets here, I'm gonna have my shelves up with a small workbench, a filament storer, and say a few rolls saved up, and then, like, let's go.
Yeah.
And more knowledge of the software, obviously. But I always knew that was the thing. I was gonna have to wait until I get my printer before I care enough to really throw myself at it. I'm a people say fuck around and find out a lot. I'm the find out guy. Like, I'm a fuck around and I'm a find out that way by doing it, so. Yeah. Worth doing, worth overdoing, I would say.
Yeah.
So
for me, I knew exactly how I wanted the room to look and set up the things. So I actually spent like an additional $250 to $300 just to set up things for the printers. Like buy shelves, put up the cabinet, and put in the ventilation and get all the PPE and stuff there. So, but in the end, it also made my hobby space more efficient, and I could have everything organized and stacked easier for my brain to comprehend, instead of just having everything laying in a stack somewhere and just be like, I don't know what's what and where goes where. So now at least it's more organized. I can find things easier. It's easier for me to just grab a box with things that I have a project in and just go at it.
Yeah, and I think if I owned my house, I would have a hobby space more like that, where it's just like, okay, cool, this part here.
Yeah.
But renting, it's hard.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sweet. This one here, Obes, if you want to get it.
Yeah. Have you had? Of course, you had some failed prints. Yeah. What? What?
Yeah. So the other ones I've had fail with those couple. And they were Mandalorian hand plates. So, like, you know, when you see, like, Mando, how he has those, like,
Hmm.
over his gloves, he has those, like, white plates with, like, the blue play symbol on them.
Yeah.
So they were those style hand plates for, like, my thing that I'm working on. And not only did I fail to print them 4 times and then manage on the 5th, they're also too small.
Ah.
I have a big fucking hand, and they sort of, like, barely go across knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not quite happy with them, so I'm gonna have to upscale them and do them yet again.
Yeah.
But you know, the orientation of them and that on the build plate was perfect. Like nothing wrong with that. Just mechanical issues on the machine's end, and yeah, just didn't size them right. So I will be installing the measuring mod to Cura and taking measurements by knuckles.
Yeah. Yeah. That's smart.
Yeah.
I think.
What about you? I know you've had a few.
Yeah, I think most of them is either because of the lack of knowledge for supporting, and having the print fail and then sort of like slink down and puncture the FEP, for example. That's happened to me.
Yep.
I think twice, and then I had to replace the FEP because it was fucked. It was leaking resin through it.
Wow. Okay.
Then it's just like the normal things with resin printing, like it's glooping, lack of support. Either you didn't do the calibration correctly, so the resin, the supports can't hold on to it because you're underexposing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things, and I think now why I'm getting fails, it's always in the same area and it's in the middle, which is really weird. But that's exactly where I have a little crease in the FEP, so I think it's that crease that's doing it.
You think that's like inhibiting your UV light, or it's dispersing it, maybe like making it refract?
I think when it pushes down, it's okay, but when it starts going up, like one piece might still be stuck. So either I have to increase the distance it's lifting, or replace the FEP, because the what it will do is the FEP will follow with the build plate or the model, and then it will just snap down.
Right.
There's new types of FEPs like that kind of don't do that following up and snapping, and they pretty much pop instantly, and then you can print faster because that's where most of your time is going away, like the slower lift speed and then the popping off from the FEP. That's where your print.
That sounds terrifying.
That's where it's basically that's where you can win most of the time, because you're only exposing for like 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds. That's nothing. Yeah. It's the raising of the build plate and putting it down again. That's the real time sink. So if you can,
I understand.
If you can fasten that up, you'll be able to print faster, which I can't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get ya. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think not a failed print because the helmet did turn out, but one thing that I did fail on with my helmet was once again I didn't realize how moisture absorbent PLA rolls were.
Yeah.
So when I fucking grabbed out that roll to print, it was brand new out of the package, so zero moisture, right? Yeah. Just sitting on the spool next to the printer.
Yeah.
The first day I had like the moisture furries all over it, which is like the filament isn't clean, it gets like fur all over it.
Okay.
Just like because it pops and sizzles, and like you can just tell it's not a very clean print and that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And that was literally because it was fucking raining outside. And my fucking... no shit, because like 90% humidity here is pretty normal.
Yeah.
And anything over 40%, it'll start absorbing.
Yeah.
So while it was printing, it went from good to bad in terms of like the PLA, which is why I need one of those enclosures. So the only time it's getting moisture is going from that little hole to the printer, and that's it. It's not sitting there for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I wouldn't call it a failed print, but it was pretty close, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
but if that does happen, you can actually bake your PLA in the oven at like 40 degrees for like 4 to 6 hours. I did it.
Yeah.
And bada bing, bada boom, worked perfectly. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think for resin prints, that's also the temperature is very important. You can't print under 20 degrees Celsius. It has to be more.
Ah.
So between 20 and 25, preferably closer to 25.
So what if it's like 35 degrees? What do you do then?
And it'll be too runny, usually.
Fuck.
But what you can do is put it in a grow tent, and then it will isolate from the heat. It will generate its own heat, but try and place it in like the coldest part of your house, I guess.
Right.
But preferably warmer is better, but colder it won't work, because the colder it gets, the less viscous the liquid is. So it'll be hot.
It'd be too thick.
Yeah, it'll be too thick, and it won't run.
Gloopy.
It won't run back down under the build plate before you.
Yeah.
Before the next layer starts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I know with my shit, it's quite a big process. For you, what does it take to get a print from like nothing, like on the computer, to finished?
Yeah.
Like, and when I say finished, I mean probably primed and ready to be like actually worked on.
Yeah.
Is that hard for you?
It depends on the file. If I say I find a file that I like, but it's unsupported, I'll probably have to spend an hour and a half to support the model, if we're talking like a Space Marine sized model. Because you have to find the right orientation, you have to start with supporting, making sure you get all the islands and all that stuff. Make sure that all the supports can carry the weight of the model. When it's printing, because I print in very, very small layers, like 0.025 is what I'm printing at. That's half of yours.
Probably less, yeah.
So that's really tiny layers, and that results in actually minimum layer lines that you can see. Like, you can see them in the right light, but it's neglectable. When you prime it, it will be gone. So if it prints, and it prints correctly, if it doesn't fail, it's usually about 8 to 10 hours for a Space Marine model in that layer height.
Yeah.
And then it will be clean up the model in either IPA or water, for me, because I use water washable. But I dunk it in IPA first, and then in different waters, and then in the wash machine. Then I have to let it dry for 24 hours and put it in the curing chamber. And after that, it's...
Oh, wow.
After that, it's just, scraping a little bit of stuff here and there, making all the support thingies disappear, and then it's pretty much ready for paint. So, all in all, I would say about 2 to 3 days to have a ready model in your hand.
So for me, especially with shit like props and stuff like that, like I'm working on a Mortal Kombat style mask at the moment, like scorpions or whatever. And even like the skull and the honeypot and that I worked on. Obviously you load up your STL, you print it out. I don't really count printing time. Like, printing time is printing time, whatever. But once it's done, you let it cool off, you remove it from the build plate, and then, if you've supported it well and shit, it should be as easy as just tearing the supports off by hand. Mm-hmm. It wasn't for some of my projects, but it should be. But then, it comes to, okay, I need to fill in these fucking layer lines, which is a shitload. So, like, there's a lot of sanding involved with that. I have a little mouse sander, so I hit the whole thing with 80 grit, then 120, then fucking, and then once I get it down to 120, I'll normally hit it with a layer of filler primer, like automotive filler primer, which, is still acrylic sort of shit, like, so it's still, you can use it with normal paints. I'll hit it with that, and then I'll knock it down with 120 again. And then I've got Tamiya modeling putty, And I'll just literally smear that into the deep recesses if they're still there, still showing up.
Yeah.
And then sand it down. And it's just a constant process of sanding, spraying until it gets smooth how you like it.
Yeah.
And then once it gets smooth, then you can look at actually painting it. And that takes a long time.
Yeah.
Like, that mask there I've been working on for... Like, I haven't sanded it for a little while, but, like, that's got a good, like, fucking 4 or 5 layers of filler primer on it.
Yeah.
And it's taken me probably 10 hours.
Yeah.
And that's, like, you know...
Going on.
So there is a lot of prep work in that if you want it to look good. Now, if you don't care about layer lines and you just want to print it and go fuck whatever, cool, you can do that in a day, you know, like whatever. But, you know, if you want it to be like a nice piece or something that looks like a film prop or something, you have to put the time in.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where resin really shines, because you can get those layer lines really out of there. And then you have a couple of settings where you can even make sure that it reduces those layer lines by making it more concave by itself.
Okay.
So if you have like a sphere, it will just automatically do that concaving for you, and it will reduce the layer lines even more. Like, you'll see when I send you your stuff, like it's insane how detailed it is. Like,
I can't wait to look to it.
I think you. I'm sure that GW plastic is almost the same quality, if not better.
Interesting. I'll be interested to see that.
Yeah,
I really will. I'm keen to see it.
I think once you put a coat of primer over it, it's indistinguishable, because you still have, for GW plastic, you still have the sprue points and everything to clean up. So if you're not good at that
mold lines,
if you're not good at cleaning it up, it will be the same outcome. So you still need some cleanup before you can do any kind of painting, you know. But
man, it doesn't matter what hobby you're in. If you don't put in the time and effort, your product's gonna suffer. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing with painting, isn't it? Like, if you prime over a model where you forgot to sand off or clean off the mold lines and the sprue connections, it'll look like shit, because it's the model is it doesn't have the same dimension as like a model that's been finished properly.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll notice it.
Yeah,
like,
straight away.
I think the big one is, on the big one, especially on like some of the Primaris sculpts, they have that one line that runs down the middle of their leg armor.
Yeah.
And like, you spot that a mile away. The moment someone posts a photo, you're like, bro, like, what's with his leg spike, you know?
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Yeah. And the thing is that GW is notorious for putting the lines exactly where you see them. Like on the legs, the leg that's straight up in front, catching the light. On the head, pretty much over the middle of the fucking head. Middle of the Tyranid face. It was the same with these guys. All the way down the middle. The big fucking layer line.
No!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And
I'd hope that was the one thing I'd hoped they'd fix on these new sculpts.
And
it was like that they would figure out to put a head on, like they do a Space Marine head, you know, just like on a stick, and you glue the head on.
Yeah, no. It's the same with the backpacks. They put the sprue connection points on the round points where you see it the most. It's like, if you're not good with a hobby knife, it's like, come on. That's just... please.
Yeah. I've said it before and I'll say it again. James Workshop needs to collaborate with Bandai in more ways than making one giant Space Marine.
Yeah.
They need to learn about undergating.
Yeah.
I love the shit that Games Workshop puts out. I really do. Their models are fantastic. But for fuck's sake, undergating, guys, please.
Yeah.
Please. We're paying premium model price for your models, and I'm happy to do that. But undergating, please.
It will make for easier hobbying, and a lot more people will be into the hobby because it's easier to model the models and make them look good out of the box, just by clipping off the sprue bits, that the sprue connections that you don't see. It's that thing that annoys people. It's like, but my models look like shit. Yeah, it's because, well, you weren't really giving with the right tools to start out with, so can't really blame you.
It's hard for those people because it's a whole bunch of little things that pile up. Like, there was cut out lines, and there's fucking, there's mold lines, and then there's like, oh, the edging on the armor is super not like raised up enough to be beginner friendly to painting, like things like that. Like a friend of mine at the moment, he's painting some chaos guys, and like the trim on those guys, man, fucking hell, like I would struggle painting that trim nicely. You know what I mean? Like fucking hell. So it's like, okay, how do we fix that? Well, let's make it a bit more recessed, or make that a little bit more prominent. Like maybe they will if they redo the models, but I don't know. Anyway, rant over.
Yeah. Oh, we love you, GM. Please make more models for us.
Please sponsor us.
Yeah. So
what's on? Yeah, you go.
What do you have on your list to print?
Oh boy, howdy! Well, lots of Mandalorian stuff. Obviously, I think next though I'm gonna do a Phase 1 Clone Trooper.
Ooh.
The helmet, and I'm gonna paint it up in the Wolfpack colors from the Clone Wars, like Commander Wolf's helmet. So I think I'm probably gonna do that. Not even like, I don't even care if it's not wearable. I want to do it as a prop for the lounge room.
Yeah.
So I think that would probably be a pretty good go. But the other thing is, I found out I can get, I think they're free actually, STLs for Vallejo bottle sized paint racks.
Oh.
And I can print those fuckers off.
Nice.
And because my fucking print surface is 30 by 30 by 32 centimeters, I can print a 32 centimeter high rack.
Yeah.
Which is, I can print a full size paint rack.
Yeah.
With that fucking printer. I don't need to paint it or anything. I can just go, yep, print me this, thank you.
Yeah.
And then bada bing, bada boom, all my fucking Vallejo bottles get a nice paint rack to go in like my GW one.
Nice.
So
that's good.
I paid like $60 for that, so like for that GW one. So if my paint rack I print costs me, not even a whole roll of filament, I'm well and truly ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the big positive about owning a PLA printing. You can print things that are practical. You can't really you can do it with resin, but it's not as practical because it's more brittle. I think the plastic is just more sustainable, and it's faster to print and less hassle of it. Well, and you can do bigger things.
I think when you take into account too that like I'm using PLA, but like you can also use like PETG and ABS and stuff like that, which are all plastics with like different qualities. So like ABS is harder to print with, but it's also a lot stronger.
Yeah.
So if it was something that you needed to have like a bit more strength, like say if you wanted to print off airsoft armor that was going to actually take some impacts here and there, use ABS. Yeah. No worries. Yeah. Like, shit like that. I also printed that little I don't know if you can see it, but my cartridges on my shelf there on a nice angle. I printed that. Yeah. That's just a cartridge holder from PLA. So, but yeah, I think that's probably the next thing. And I think I'm gonna buy my STL for my Mando helmet. I actually want to use my kit soon, and I'm gonna try and nail that fucker too. Because my one I printed was just a practice. Yeah. So yeah, what about you? What do you got?
I am currently working on a let's say a proxy model for a certain Titan model. So
the battle puppy.
Yeah, the battle doggo.
yeah.
That's basically on the list. Big thing. It's 3 more build plates to go. I think, or 4. 1 more I need to support. And it's a big project. So that I want to finish that, and I don't really know after that. I think I might sell some like printer time or something for people that want some stuff.
Okay. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Recoup some money.
Yeah, make back some cash, because I don't really know what else. Because that's the thing. Like, if I spend time supporting models, I'm not spending time painting models. Or
yeah. So all of your hobby just becomes making them rather than painting them, which is what you really love.
Yeah. And that's kind of like I've printed so much things now that I could, because that's kind of be my problem for the winter time, that I'm not gonna be able to print in the winter. So I'm just printing now.
Yeah.
and then just picking up the models in the winter and just be like, okay, I can do this and this and this because I've already printed it off. What I can do in
Plus, I mean, the good
winter time is just support models that I want to do, and if there's like a good day, maybe I can do it, and if not, I'll just leave it for the summer.
And the good thing is too, like, your power prices are always an issue in winter as well. So, like, you know, if you're not even running the 3D printer or the heater in there that whole time, that's obviously much more beneficial to you.
Exactly.
You know, in that way. So that's cool.
Yeah, so
that'd be sick.
I'm not really sure. I just want to finish that one. Maybe do a couple of other small things. I don't know, man. Like, there's not really much on my mind after this Battle Doggo.
See, that's the cool thing about the PLA thing. Like, I can print stuff that's, like you said, useful, or I can do something completely different. It doesn't have to be on my Warhammer table. Like, it can be a thing for the house. It can be you know, you can print little holders for your plants that go in your fish tank.
Yeah.
You can do all these sorts of things. Or I can print a Mortal Kombat mask, or I can print a Mandalorian helmet for somebody as a gift, you know. And I think you would get a lot more utility out of your resin printer if you also had a PLA, because you could be making props. Like, you could go, I'm making a Mando helmet. And the bucket I'm going to print on the PLA, but then the earpieces and the detail pieces are going to be done on the resin.
Yeah.
And they could be printing at the same time, and it's like, well, now you have a whole project.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, I bought this for my miniature painting hobby.
Yeah.
Whereas mine's like just a gateway to all the hobbies, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely a distinction to look at too.
Yeah. But that's kind of why I bought this one, you know, because it's basically meant I wanted it for miniatures, and I understand the limits of the resin printer. So yeah.
No, it's cool, man, and it's the same as me. Like, I haven't tried printing off any miniatures. Like, I know I can do it if I really drop my layer height down and slow it down and stuff. I can get reasonable detail on something, you know, maybe like some scenery or something like that, like terrain.
Yeah.
I can do that, but it's not my printer's strong suit, so whatever, fuck it, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
This is like a question that I have, and is there any personal downfalls on owning a printer for you? Like, for me, personally, I spend way too much time searching the internet for models to print, and then I don't print them. So, or no, I don't have that time to print them because I have to support.
That's actually
them.
one of my favorite. That's actually one of my favorite parts. Speaking of support us on Patreon. But no, like, that's actually one of my favorite things because it's sort of like window shopping. I never had Etsy on my phone until I got a 3D printer. Now I have like 5 different 3D modelers that I follow.
Yeah.
Just to like be like, okay, when are you putting out a cool Mando helmet? Oh, I like that one, you know, like. So I actually really enjoy that sort of like window shopping, which is cool. And there's some really fun free files out there as well, so it's kind of cool. But it's a lot easier for me to print random shit than it is for you, because I can go, I like that design, load it into Kira, hit auto support, make sure my things are done, export it and have it printing within 10 minutes if it's something that's easy enough to do. Whereas you, it's like no matter what, there's an hour or two work there at least.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Usually what I do is like when I started that build plate where your stuff is on, my missus was like, okay, I want a Scorpion model and I found this one. Can you print it? Okay, I'll print it. And then I'll just take in a whole bunch of things that I have been wanting to print but never got around to making a plate for it. So I got that Scorpion, I got your bits, I got some bits to do some kit bashing with a GW kit and I printed off a gift for somebody who will take it up later. And just being able to put it all on one plate and just making it ready, it takes a lot of time, but once I get it printed, that's like a whole bunch of stuff off of my work schedule, you know? because I can just gather it all in one build plate. Whereas for you can print maybe one or two smaller things on the same, or one big one. I could do a lot of projects in one go.
Yeah, I can print. Like, I could do all my Mandalorian earpieces, and probably like a combat knife or something like that on the same build plate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is pretty cool. But as you said, like, it's a different thing entirely. I think the one drawback to owning a 3D printer I have is everyone wants you to 3D print things. You know, and like, my little brother, obviously, Shayna, he's been on the podcast before. He's like the biggest Star Wars fan I know. And he's like, bro, do you have any, like, bits that you want that you can give to me so I can, like, start Mandalorian stuff as well? And, like, I have every intention on making him probably a Mandalorian helmet. Yeah, nice. Nice. You 3D printed those?
Yeah, I printed off Darth Vader and Luke
Nice.
Skywalker in a dual stance.
Nice.
In the classic dual
That's
stance
badass.
from the Revenge of the Sith.
That's badass. But, no, so, like, obviously, like, he's very excited and he wants me to 3D print him and stuff, but I'm like, dude, if I 3D print you a helmet, that's $36 worth of materials right there.
Yeah.
So, like, will I 3D print him a helmet? Of course I will. But it's not going to be when he asks for it. It's going to be for a gift.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, but, like, having to tell people, like, no, or like, oh, yeah, it's like, fucking hell. And then, like, there's always the whole, like, people that don't know anything about 3D printing, and they're like, oh, so you do 3D printing? Yeah. So, like, how does that work? And then you have to go into the whole spiel. And, like, you feel like just hand them a link to the episode and be like, here, just listen to the podcast. But it's like, I love conversations with people as much as the next person, but when you have the same conversation 4 times in a week or something, you're like, oh, man, fuck this. This is Groundhog Day for conversations.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like winning the lotto. Everyone knows you got it and they want some.
Yeah, fair enough.
Although, I did play a pretty good prank on someone we worked with. There was a bit of a joke going with one of the guys that, that he liked to polish apples, if you will, which is, like, obviously a joke for, polishing your nuts. Jerking one off, exactly. And so, like, the whole night at work, everyone was like, oh, yeah, you polished apples. And me being mean, I went home, I found a free STL, I downloaded it, and I 3D printed a small apple on one of my build plates, and I primed it, and I painted it, and I hand-delivered it to him in, like, a metallic red the next night at work. And he's like, what's this? I'm like, it's an apple for you to polish, and he's like, you go too far. I'm like, or do I go just the right way? He said, did you fucking make this? I'm like, yeah, I did.
That's brilliant.
So now all those guys in that office know the incredible length that I will go to for a joke.
That's fucking brilliant.
They're all very anxious to make jokes like that around me now, like, like prop-based jokes because they know I'll rock up or something.
Oh man, me and Matt were looking at STLs a couple. You remember that conversation where there's like an 18 plus section on the Cults 3D site, and it's just so fucking funny. It's just dicks on everything, or just lewd models.
Man, before I die, Obi, I am sending you a Pikachu dildo. Made out of PLA.
A Dickachu.
I'm sending it right to a Dickachu. I'm sending it right to your house, right in one. I'll send it with like all the shit I send you, so that way you open it in front of like I don't know your parents or something to be open when you open up this sweet Christmas gift. You pull out Dickachu out of a Mandalorian helm.
Oh, Dickachu, I chase you. Oh my lord, that's good shit.
You know what's funny? I just had this hilarious thought. I know a Mandalorian helmet you can wear. They make ones for Twi'leks. So they're, the guys with the dangly bits?
Yeah.
They make them for, they actually make them for people that cosplay as Twi'leks.
Ah.
So you could get one of those and put your dreadlocks through it, like Lecky.
That would be funny as hell.
Alright, buying that STL. I need head measurements, Obloran. Head measurements. Get on it.
Yeah. Well, my missus is probably...
Not your penis.
Oh, that one. Alright.
No, I already printed a mini Mandalorian helmet, remember? I'll send that to you too.
Fair enough. Oh.
Nah, that's my dick helmet. Anyway. But yeah. Okay, here's a question for you. Would you buy the opposite type of printer? So, like, would you buy a PLA printer? Like, or say if you saw one for a good price on Marketplace, would you take that, that plunge?
I think a second hand, hard pressed, no, but Elegoo has some really, really good products, and they also have really good deals every now and then, like for big events like Black Friday or Father's Day or stuff like that. They have really good deals. So if the price is right and the time is right, if the money is there, I might pick one up. But as you see, my hobby room is pretty much stacked to the bottom with stuff already.
Yeah, but see, right there's a lightsaber in the background near you. There's enough room there for a mannequin holding a full suit of armor to hold onto your lightsaber. Okay, like, I'm talking truth.
I actually want that space to be available to make a gaming table. That's been like kind of a plan. I want to make like a folding gaming table so I can fold it up into like different sizes of the tables that you need for Warhammer. So if I flip up one side, it'll be enough to play like a kill team sized board, and if I put up the other side, I can play full size 40k.
Yeah.
And then just paint it black, because then I can use that one to take pictures with the background. I have a...
That's true.
So I think that would be really cool to do. So
yeah,
like,
well, I mean, the good thing about the PLA printer is you can have it anywhere and not have to worry about fumes and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, it just does its thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, but yeah, fair enough, man.
I think room wise, I'm kind of hard pressed on space for now, so it's gonna be hard fitting one somewhere. The only way I can physically see myself owning one is if I clear my backlog out.
Yeah, which you're working on.
I'm working on it.
Because you're not buying the new Knights coming out.
But it's pretty, and I need Knights. Please, Blake.
No.
Blake, it's a new Lancer. It's not like I have a Lancer already. I have a resin Lancer, not a plastic one.
Doesn't matter.
I want the plastic. Okay, but I'm buying a Castigator when they come out.
Whatever.
I can agree with you. I won't buy a Lancer, but I'll buy the Castigator.
You already have one.
I already have a Lancer, so I'll buy the Castigator instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're in agreement. All good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Fine. Yeah.
How about you? Resin printer? Yay or nay?
Yeah. Almost definitely I will be getting one at some point. Both because obviously I'm a war gamer as well, so like, being able to print off, different like tabards and things like that, like cool shit, like upgrades more or less for my Warhammer models. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. There's Star Wars shit you can do, but also like there's a lot of detailed stuff that would just be really handy to have a resin printer for. Like, there's a really cool Iron Man helmet you can print off, which is like the broken one that he has in like, the one that he's like playing the message on in, I think it's Infinity War.
Yeah.
Or the start of Endgame, like, he's recording the message. So all that inner weaving where that second, like, broken away eye is, that looks really good if you print that in resin and then paint it. Whereas, because like with PLA, it's just too fine to make it look nice.
Yeah.
So ideally, you'd print the whole helmet in PLA and then that insert in resin, and like you sort of combine them, which is like, when I do my Mando helmets, the ears and the details and stuff, and the little greeblies can be done in resin.
Yeah.
And then the big structural stuff can all be done in PLA. So
yeah.
They sort of work hand in hand as far as I'm concerned for my uses.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I print a full size, plasma pistol I can print the detailed parts with that.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think almost definitely is my answer.
Yeah, I think for me it's I find myself more and more saying, "Hot damn! I wish I had a PLA printer to do make like a custom hook or something to put things on, or like my
Yeah.
girlfriend wants some plant plot. Fuck me, I can't speak. Plant pots.
Plant pots?
Yeah,
Yep.
stuff like that. Just like make her some really cool shit, that isn't toxic.
You should show her the honey pot I made for Tara.
So, in a way, yes, I want one, but the space is an issue for me. What I can do, however, is because I have my cleaning station to the left side of my printer station, and that one is in a cabinet. What I can do is have the spools of what's it called, the PLA on the top of the rack, going behind the cabinet and then into the printer where I have my models, my backlog right now. So if I clear my backlog, I can sink down the level and put the printer there and just
that's a great idea.
Have the PLA strands going on the backside.
Yeah. And truth be told, I'll probably do something like that with when I get my shelving and I have my storage things that keep them moisture free. I'll probably run it down and then straight into the Bowden tube that from the shelf up above, or I'll put a bit of dowel. So I'll figure something out, but I'll probably do that, and I'll put a light above it as well, and probably install a camera so I can keep an eye on it from work.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because you can do all those cool things, and also having that space means I don't need to find somewhere in my actual house to put a helmet that I'm working on or whatever. I can just go boom, boom, put it up there, and it creates the storage. And I need to sell some of my fucking pop vinyls because they're just taking up space in my garage. Yeah, so if you want rare Dragon Ball Z pop vinyls, buy them off me. But yeah, so definitely resin. And then, like I said, I can actually, if I've got a shelf space, I can go, okay, PLA printer here, resin printer here, wash station there, just all there. And then I'll probably also have a small desk for my airbrush with the vent thing set up at the window there too, so I can just go, yep, shit in there, all the stinky stuff's at the garage under the house. Me and Tara being asthmatics aren't going to have any issues, and it'll be great. So
yeah, that's it. I think the thing with resin as well is that you can't clean the stuff out in broad sunlight, so you have to make sure that you can block out the sunlight completely while you're cleaning your stuff.
Oh,
so
my dear friend, I'm a night shift worker. No sun shines in my house ever.
Oh, that's because you're such a ray of sunshine yourself.
Well, that's right, exactly. Nah, bro, I was a storm cloud today. I was such a grumpy cunt, I was like, oh. But I'll talk to you about that off air.
Fair enough.
What I do have to look at, since I think I'm pretty much done talking about 3D printers now, busted that now.
I think we are.
First done for the day.
I think we have established that supporting sucks ass. Printing models is cool as fuck. And
supporting models sucks, but you should support us on Patreon.
So we can support models for you and send them out to you.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and a lot of it's funny, people in the Discord have been asking me weird questions like, oh, well, what does this Patreon tier cost for weird shit? And I'm like, $1,000. No one's taken me up on it yet, but I'll have the conversation with Tara.
That's also because
people want to see my feet.
We're selling private pictures of our parts.
They just want our feet,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not willing to whore myself out like that. Yeah.
Oh, $1,000 to $1,000.
Oh yeah.
In this economy, come on.
Anybody want to try a dreadlock?
It's a leku, man. It's a leku.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Alright, well, with that,
it's time.
We are on to The roasts.
Ah.
You know? The show is often recorded on a Sunday, so this is our Sunday roast.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah. So what we got was Mr. Gerald. He sent us. We actually skipped over this one, and I'm really, really sorry.
Is it Gerald or Gerald?
I think Gerald or Gerald. We'll have to ask him next time.
No, I'm gonna call you Jezza. Hey, Jezza.
All right. So
So
you want to go?
yeah, what do we got? No, you tell me what we got.
Yeah. So what he
Hold on, look at
submitted
that,
to
mate.
us was a kind of a diorama piece where he made a chessboard with Warhammer 40k models, and I don't know what to say. It's probably the coolest idea I've seen in a long time. Like making a black and white armies for both sides with all the different models. He actually sent me one of his custodies, so
That's cool.
yeah. It's sadly I'm putting it in the jar of paint stripper, but
Yeah, there's a lot. Look, I understand how hard it is to paint a model when you're only using blacks and whites.
yeah,
Very difficult. And I don't know what Jez's experience is with painting, but there's a lot of paints on those bad boys. That looks very thick.
a little bit, yeah. But I think that was one of
Jez-
his earlier projects, yeah.
Right. Well, look, I'm not going to rush Jezza too hard because it seems like a nice bloke, but definitely get yourself a wet palette if you don't have one already, brother, and just keep at it. Like, anyone else I'd shit stir the hell out of, but like honestly, you look like you're trying hard to get good.
Yeah.
So you keep at it, bro. Practice makes perfect. I started out with models that look like that too.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone does. Now, like I said, I don't know where your level is, like how long you've been painting for, but your creativity is through the roof, and that will carry you a very, very, very long way. You know? Very, very long. Overall, the actual chessboard looks fucking gorgeous. I don't know if he made that as well.
I would assume
but,
so.
like, that's cool as hell. Yeah. It's like terrain and shit. It looks like there's resin in there, maybe. Like, in the cracks, that's fucking real craftsmanship.
Yeah.
So while I can nitpick your models, the actual board is cool as shit.
Mm-hmm.
So well done, man. Well fucking done. It's cool as.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with it. It's really, really well executed. The models itself, when I had it in my hand, they actually looked a lot better than in the pictures. I think the pictures.
Well, the
pictures make it a little bit not fair in a way, I think. And the lighting, it's not good lighting in the pictures, but when I had them all in hand, it looked totally fine. Sure, you could thin a little bit more, and it would have been on the point. But that's the problem with white paints.
Yeah.
Like, white paints are thick to start with, so...
I was going to say, I think what's fucked him is, like, I'm looking at the Space Marines. I think that just spray painting them white and then blocking in the black and that would have probably been a lot better. Yeah. You can see he's had a lot of trouble just making the black go away.
Yeah.
With the white. And, like, dude, that happens to fucking everyone. White models are the hardest to paint.
Yeah.
White, then yellow. Without an airbrush, they are both very, very hard.
Correct, yeah.
So, dude, I have to commend your efforts because they look fucking... For what you've done and keeping it to the black and white with just, like, colour accents like golds and that, I think you did pretty good.
Yeah.
And the black Marines look damn good.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but keep at it, bro. Keep that creativity going. I love it.
Yep. I really do. I would love the idea of the chessboard, and I love the terrain piece around it. You could probably do with filling the cracks a little bit more because I can see the foam coming through in some parts. But all in all, I really love the idea that you've done there.
I'll fill your crack.
Oh, nice.
Oh shit, we're at air.
Yeah, I really like it. I like the board aesthetics. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really say too much negative stuff about it because I really like how it looks actually.
At the end of the day, I might point out that your painting's not, like I might nitpick your painting, but the fact is that I could never be fucked to make something as big and as impressive as that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Take from that what you will. Like the actual board and shit, badass.
Exactly.
Well done, bro. Well done. Keep at it.
I'm really recommending you for your work you've put in the board and the terrain piece around it, and making it all in one coherent piece, and one coherent diorama thing. Like, I had this sort of similar idea of making like a temple board for my custodies, and I never got to it because I knew how much work it would be, and it's just demotivated me to do it. So you've done it. Well done. Good job. I love it.
Well job. Good day.
Well job.
Alright, and now the next one, the Bixer saga continues. Instead of just like leaving it as it lies, Bixer's decided to put up pictures of him in various football jerseys on the Roast podcast, Roast channel. Now, if you want to have runway fashion shows, Bixer, that's fine, man. But come on, this is a hobby Discord, alright? I will say, none of those jerseys you put up are near as bad as that fucking Technicolor vomit one you had. They're all much of a muchness, but come on, man, you could have at least made your bed, or got an adult bed, or a race car bed. Just go in the middle. Don't go in the middle. Like, what are you doing, lad?
You know that piece of atrocity is actually laying on his bed as well.
Oh, no. I hope he's downgraded it to, like, his spaff shirt, so it's only when he wanks he wipes it. Like, that's all it's for now.
I will say, though...
Look, Pixar, I don't know why you did this. I like your cargo pants, so I'll give you that.
Yeah, very, very metal. You're on the right way with the bottom part of your clothing style.
Whoa, you're halfway there. Whoa, you're almost not a square.
Okay, but if I have to say something, get a waste bucket that's standing in the corner with a lid on it, because when you start throwing used cum rags in there, that's gonna start smelling in your room, dude. At least you got a cover for it.
Now, I like to think that the reason he doesn't have a lid on his bin is because he's prepping to throw out that really god-awful jersey he has.
Alright.
Like, he's working up to it, he's like in the process, so I like to believe the best of Bixer,
Well, fair enough. I really also like the artwork that he has around his room. Like, there's a Rick and Morty poster, and then there's like a Japanese style,
the Great Wave.
The Great Wave next to Scarface. It's like that's like three polar opposites, only one room.
Bixer, please put models up next time. When we say models, we mean actual models, not you wearing shirts, okay?
Oh.
Damn.
On that note.
Anyway, that's enough of that.
We gave Vix a shit for a month now. It's good.
Dude, he asked for it. We're putting himself there.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a roast channel. If people put it there, they're asking us to be mean. If they put it in work in progress or general, they're not asking us to be mean. Then it's up to us if we're mean. You see?
Okay, fair enough.
That's how this works.
Nice.
But guess what? It's my favourite part of the podcast. The part where we get to strip off our armour, put it to the side, and stop pretending to be Knights of the Hobby Table and be the music reviewers that we always have been.
Oh boy. We're already not wearing pants, so what else are you taking off?
Dude, I never do. Bro, every time I've ever worn pants on this podcast, I'm just not as dynamic. I don't have the ventilation in the downstairs to get the job done, so here I am, pantless and high performance.
And taking a spatula to your ball sack later when you're done.
No, it's nice and cool, bro. It's nice and cool right now. It's good. It's good weather here in Australia right now.
Fair enough.
But today, we have a particularly brutal album to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
It's Terror Sight by a band called Cattle Decapitation.
And with a name like that, you know it's gonna be a banger.
That's right. And now the cool thing about this album is, like I gave it over to Obi to listen to because I'd been listening to it, but it's a new one for me too. So this album was actually the first time I'd listened to the band at all, and it was on the recommendation of my friend Justin. So it's But I'll let you kick it off, Obi. What do you think, bro? Tell us all about it.
I was a little bit skeptical about it because I kind of related Cal Decapitation to like Cannibal Corpse and that stuff, bordering like the like death metal,
1980s death metal sort of thing.
And I never really got into that.
Not
stuff.
So polished shit.
Yeah, I never got into that stuff. Like like that was what I thought it was, like bordering old school death metal and black metal inspiration. Yeah, and they have a little bit of that death metal swing in there, but there's enough to keep it interesting. I was definitely pleasantly surprised when I actually put it on. Like the first run through, I didn't really pay much attention to it, and the second time I listened was like, oh well, it's got some good hooks in here and good catches. And just the more I'm listening to it, the more I just find myself putting it on again. It's just like, oh, I need some music. Cattle Decapitation. So take from that what you will. I'm a person that's very picky with music and moods, and this one has actually been striking my mood a lot the past week. So musically wise, I think this stuff is right on the nose for it. The album is basically talking about how humans are a parasite living on the earth, so and
well, I think that it's also a concept album. So I think that's one interpretation of it, but I think it's also like literally about an alien race that comes to Earth and uses our bodies as like a parasitic shell to hatch out of them. Like, like I'm pretty sure it's a concept album about that.
Okay.
But it is also like a metaphor for like, humans being fucking parasites.
Yeah.
So it's like sort of both, and I think they do that well.
Yeah, it's really cool, and like I said, they have really good hooks in their songs. For example, the world will go on without you. Oh, such a good hook in there. Yeah. Pretty much the I didn't really like the intro song that much, but the songs after that just straight up bangers, all of them. If you're into death metal with deathcore screamings, definitely give this a listen.
Yeah, exactly. How many goblins would you give it first?
8 out of 10.
Before I run into it. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, pretty good.
So this is very much a it is death metal, but it's not really the old school death metal, like Obi said. It's not. Now I listen to a bit of that sort of stuff, but usually what fails me there is actually the mixing is very poor. Yeah. Right, doing that sort of extreme music with such limited technology oftentimes ends up sounding like garbage. So, like, there's only probably one Cannibal Corpse song I've heard where I'm like, okay, I like that. And that's later stuff where the recording was good. This is much more Revocation than it is Cannibal Corpse, right? So it's like modern technical death metal with deathcore added on top, and like, I like that stuff. Like
it wasn't too much deathcore to be. It wasn't heavy to be heavy either. It was just the perfect amount of mixture there.
It was tasteful. Yeah. It was tasteful. It's just
no overly composed or lack of composure breakdowns either. So
or just overly polished shit too, where it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like riff salad. All the riffs serve a point. They serve the song. It's good. I think they did a fucking great job on it, man. And like, there's actually clean vocals in it, but they almost sound like they threw like a modulator to make the guy sound like an alien, and I think it's just the perfect weird cherry on top of this album. And for me, it was an unexpected hit, man, because like I said, like I listened to a bit of like when we talk about death metal, mostly I listen to melodic death
Yeah.
metal, right? Like I listen to shit from Sweden. Like I listen to At the Gates. I listen to The Haunted. I listen to In Flames. Like that sort of shit. Children of Bodom. Like that sort of shit is like my standard shit I love. And I listen to a bit of actual death metal, but then there's like shit like, you know, Revocation that I listen to, which is much closer to this. And this has a lot, even though it's not so much on the core side of it, this has a lot in common with Lorna Shore, but not so melodic on the guitar riffs.
Or breakdown heavy.
So, not so breakdown heavy either, but like, the melody is more from the vocals in this than it is from the guitar leads like it is in Lorna Shore. So there's a bit of a switch there, but he does sound similar. And it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, a lot of gurgly
I think it's
sounds
pretty fucking cool.
and deep screams. And
yeah.
At some points I was
Lot of
like,
awkward
is this Will Ramos? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. So it scratches that same itch, and especially with there being like not much Lorna Shore music with Will Ramos out, sometimes you're just like, oh, I'm in that mood, but I don't want to listen to The Pain Remains for the 8th time this week, so for this 9th time, I'm going to listen to Cal Decapitation.
I feel called out.
So
Fuck
like,
off.
Well, no, I'm calling myself out.
Oh.
Bro, there's a few things that are stuck in my Spotify playlist, right? Like my home.
Yeah.
There's Forgone by In Flames, because I can't stop listening to it. There's Necrogoblicon, like this is Necrogoblicon, their whole playlist. There's the Spirit Box album, Eternal Blue. And there's Pain Remains. You know, so that's like, they're like, hey, you listened to this last week, listen to it again?
Sure.
Why not?
You got me there.
But like, yeah, dude, it fucking slaps. And I do highly recommend you check out, if you haven't already, check out Revocation, Obi, because if you like these guys, you'll probably jive with them. They're sort of like, have you heard Silosis? I showed you Silosis, right?
I think I listened to a couple of songs.
Yeah,
that you
so they sound sort of like the middle ground between Silosis and Cal Decapitation.
Oh, yeah.
They're sort of like a middle ground. So like, not quite as heavy, but still really pretty fucking good. Good shit.
I think I'll probably listen to their older albums at some point too.
I've had a few songs pop up from their older stuff, and like same kettle of fish. Not same as in like boring the same, but like the shit I like about this album is also in that album.
Cool.
Or like in those songs, I'm like, sweet dude. So I think for me, I'll have to give it a solid 9 goblins out of 10.
Oh my god.
Because not only is the album solid, but the band blew me away. For something that's a new recommendation, I don't often fall into just listening to that band. You know what I mean? Like I go, oh yeah, I like that, and then I'll go back burner it, get back into it. Kick ass, dude. Kick fucking ass. So, yeah. Cal Decapitation, come on the podcast. We like it.
Yeah, for real. It's been on the repeat button a little too many times, I would say. To the point where I'm blasting it at work as well without... Because they don't want to give me any headsets, so I'm just gonna have to blast it on the speakers. So that's your own fucking fault if you don't want to listen to death metal.
That's on them.
It's totally on them.
Honestly.
The whole office is gonna listen to death metal now.
That's right. Either that or they're going to have to deal with you walking around all horny listening to Sleep Token. It's one of the two.
Horny? What do you mean horny?
You don't think Sleep Token's horny music?
What? Horny music?
Oh, it definitely is, man. Yeah, man, it's like Deftones. It's like horny music, you know? Like how Deftones is like horny corn. Sleep Token's like horny ghost. It's just the way it goes.
I never heard that before, and I don't think I actually put the link in there.
Welcome to your nightmare.
Oh, no. I don't like this.
Fucking... I don't like it.
I don't like it here.
Don't like it. Anyway, thanks for listening to our music bit, guy. A music tip.
Hey.
Just the tip. Obi, you got a bit of a special...
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to give out the song.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, but...
I talked earlier about a special model for a person, and that person is Mr. Hawk. increased his Patreon level to a level that's not even in the Patreon level. He just gave us a set amount of money, and I am blown away because it's a huge amount of money. I didn't know what to say when I saw that notification. I was like, is this Swedish crowns, or is this what kind of?
We both thought it was. We both thought it was a mistake at first, right? We're like, nah, no way. Like, it's just accidentally entered a value and that's it, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, this dude's giving us, like, a third of our patronage on his own.
And it's
you know,
blowing us away. Like, it's stuff like this that means that we can keep continuing making content, and, you know, this whole episode has been sponsored because we bought the 3D printers with money from the podcast. Like,
exactly.
It's mind blowing that you did that, and so to thank you for your patronage, I asked him what he wanted for what kind of a model he wanted. So I found him a little noise marine. He wanted a noise marine. I found a really cool looking one. Supported it, and it's actually, as we're speaking, it's being printed. So.
You know what? See, that's how it works. You support us, we support your models.
Exactly. So,
nah, but seriously, it means the world. It really does. Like,
huge.
We put a lot of time and effort into this podcast. Like, especially Obi. Shout out to Obi too, because he always edits this fucking shit. No, seriously, dude. Like, I know that I'm always the cunt that talks a lot. Yeah, I push a lot of the ideas forward, but this doesn't happen without you, and it doesn't happen without people like Uni Hawk. So thank you to all of you guys, but especially Uni Hawk.
Yeah.
You guys are great.
I'm
Big
closing
love.
in on printing off all of the stuff that I was going to start sending out. So it's happening soon. I just have to figure out a way to safely ship out all of this stuff without it breaking in transit. So bear with me for that. Yeah. I know there's a couple of people that I've printed stuff for and they're waiting on it, but please be patient. I'm working on it. It's on my to-do list, and I've written a to-do list of stuff that I have to do.
Yeah.
So
it's like your mom. It's at the top of our to-do list.
It's not really on the top of my to-do list, but it's there. It's on the list. That means that's important.
Like their moms? No.
Whoa. No, not going there.
Nah. Seriously. Good work, guys. We appreciate it all. Also, Obi. Seriously, get a tape measure. Measure yours and your kid's head. Okay? Get this shit going. I'm not joking. This is not a drill. I need measurements from the back of your head to your nose. I need them from your jaw to the top of your head. Right? I need, because I need to know if your nose is going to fit within a visor. Well, I need to make sure they fit. Right?
I got a really big nose.
To know things. I know. It's that Belgian it's the Belgian dipper, as they would say on Austin Powers.
My missus loves it.
Oh no. I need an adult.
Help me. Save me. Oh my god. Okay, that's too far.
Thanks again for joining us, so guys. Join the Patreon, as we said, support us, we support you.
And get them all.
We exactly. Electricity is expensive, so help us out with that.
Exactly. and
help us out, and join the Discord so you can listen to me yell at people on Fortnite. That's great fun, right, guys?
Especially Norcree.
Fucking Norcree. Nah, Norcree's a good one. I haven't seen him much lately.
He's traveling.
But join the Discord. The Discord's great. Holy shit, dude, that was bad.
I'm gonna have to edit that out.
No, leave it in. That's funny as hell. You're gonna master the dragon burps, Obi, out your nose, you know? But join the Discord so you can hear Obi burp where you can't edit it out. We have social media, but we don't use it because we're old people. So
find us on here, Discord. That's where we're going.
Exactly. Hang out in the Discord. That's the real social media. And yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. It's been a fucking hoot, as an owl would say. And hoot hoot. And until next time, remember to crank that air.
See that green.
We are the Knights of the Hobby Team.
Shabba.
Thanks for listening. Bye.